Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going deep into Elite Connections.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a matchmaking agency in, you guessed it, Beverly Hills.
Ah, Beverly Hills, the land of, wow,
Glamour, right? And whirlwind romance.
exactly. But is finding love really that simple? Like just be in the right zip code and boom, you're set.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what we're trying to figure out today. We've got Elite Connections website
Okay.
and some client testimonials. We're going to unpack all that.
Sounds like fun.
So if you're out there listening, tired of the dating game and looking for something, more serious,
The real deal.
this deep dive might be for you, yeah.
Well, right off the bat, something that caught my eye. Elite Connections has been around for 30 years,
Wow.
and they have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau.
Okay, 30 years definitely sounds like they're not messing around. But what does that actually mean in the matchmaking world?
That's a great question because think about it. Trends come and go. Dating apps are constantly changing. But Elite Connections, they've weathered it all.
They've stood the test of time.
Exactly. So it seems like they're not just chasing the latest fad, they're actually adapting, refining their methods, and building a reputation for, well, success.
Interesting. And they're doing it all in Beverly Hills, a place known for, well,
Exclusivity, let's be honest.
yeah.
Their website really emphasizes that they work with high-caliber professionals in the Beverly Hills area.
Okay, so we're not talking about just your average single scene here.
Definitely not. These are individuals who are successful, probably very driven, and let's face it, they might be a little more discerning when it comes to choosing a partner.
So are they basically saying they've cracked the code for matchmaking in a world where everyone's super busy, ambitious, and maybe even a little jaded by the whole dating scene?
It makes you wonder, right? What makes their approach different? How do they handle these specific kind of clients, the busy professionals? Do they get the pressures and priorities of that lifestyle better than a typical dating app? Lots to consider.
Lots to consider for sure. And then there are these client testimonials they have on their site, like little snippets of happily ever after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one that caught my eye was Allison Vincent, married since 2009 and have like 3 kids now. That's a pretty solid testament to the idea that this isn't just about a quick fling.
It really is. It speaks to the idea that maybe Elite Connections is about creating lasting partnerships, families, a whole life together, not just a few dates, and then poof, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, every story is unique,
Of course.
but it does make you think maybe they're onto something.
It does.
And they really emphasize quality relationships.
Quality. Sounds good, but what does that even mean?
Right, right. What does quality actually look like? Shared values, intellectual compatibility, a certain lifestyle. Or is it something deeper, something more than just checking boxes on a list?
Right, that's the question. And how do they actually match people based on this mysterious quality factor? Personality tests, in-depth interviews, some secret algorithm. I'm really curious about their process.
Me too.
Yeah.
Figuring out how they operate behind the scenes could tell us a lot about what makes them different.
Absolutely.
And speaking of getting behind the scenes, they make it super easy to get in touch. Phone number, consultation form, their whole online presence, it's like they're inviting people to come in.
Makes you think they're confident, right? Like they have nothing to hide.
Maybe. Or maybe they're just really good at marketing. Either way, I have to say, I'm way more interested now than when we started.
Me too. There's definitely more to explore here. Ready to see what makes this Beverly Hills matchmaker tick?
Absolutely. Let's dive into part 2.
Okay, so diving into their website, one thing that kind of jumps out is how they position themselves as an alternative to, the whole frustrating dating experience in Beverly Hills.
Interesting. What are they even getting at there? What's so frustrating about dating in Beverly Hills?
Well, picture this, right? A world where everyone's focused on image, status symbols are everywhere, and everyone's putting on this carefully curated, facade.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. So are they implying that it's all surface level, no substance?
Not exactly. But they do seem to be saying that it can be tough to find something real, something authentic in a place where appearances matter so much.
I can see that. So it's almost like Elite Connections is trying to create this haven, this space where people can, I don't know, be themselves and find a connection that's more than just skin deep.
Right, and maybe that's particularly appealing to the people they're going after, those high-achieving professionals.
They're already used to navigating complex worlds in their careers, so maybe they're looking for that same level of sophistication in their personal lives, too.
Maybe. And speaking of their clientele, they specifically mentioned that their male clients are high-caliber professional men seeking quality romance. It's practically a tagline at this point.
It is, yeah. And it shows they really know their target audience.
Right.
Like, they're not just throwing anyone together. They're being strategic, choosing matches based on shared values, lifestyles, ambitions, all that.
Exactly. And they're equally specific about the women they work with, too, describing them as established single women on the West Side looking for the highest quality relationships. Again, with the quality.
Yeah, what's with that? It's like they're saying, look, we get it. You're not settling for just anyone. You deserve the best. And in Beverly Hills, where everyone expects the best, that message probably hits home.
Totally. And maybe it even plays into that sense of exclusivity, the idea that you're part of this select group of people who all want the same things in life and in love.
Right, right. It's not just about finding a date. It's about finding someone who gets your world.
It's your world, yeah.
But let's be real for a second. They've got all these glowing testimonials on their website, but we know how that goes, right? It's easy to cherry pick the best ones.
Totally. You always got to take testimonials with a grain of salt. They're usually the best case scenarios. Not everyone's going to have the same experience.
Exactly. But even with that in mind, I do think there's something valuable about hearing these stories.
Oh, for sure.
They offer a glimpse into what's possible, right? Like a window into what could happen if you work with elite connections.
Absolutely. And even if we don't take them as gospel, they can still tell us something about the whole matchmaking process, the kind of connections they're creating, what the people involved are hoping for, all that.
I agree. So were there any testimonials that really stood out to you?
You know, I thought Ching's story was pretty interesting. She met her fiancé through elite connections and seems genuinely happy with how it all worked out. She even gives a shout out to the CA matchmakers, which makes it feel more personal.
Yeah, like she's not just praising the service, but the actual people behind it,
Yeah.
the matchmakers who made it all happen.
Exactly. It reminds you that there's a human element to this whole thing. You know, it's not just algorithms and data. It's about understanding people and relationships.
And then there's Mark, who mentions that he signed up because he works all the time and needed help meeting the right kind of women. Really plays into that whole busy professional angle.
Totally. It highlights the whole time-saving benefit of using a matchmaking service. For someone like Mark, who's got a demanding job and not a lot of free time, this makes things so much easier.
Right, it's like having a personal dating assistant who's out there finding matches and filtering out all the noise so you can just focus on, actually connecting with someone.
Exactly. And it shows that Elite Connections gets it. They understand the challenges of their target audience, which is pretty smart.
Yeah. And speaking of being smart, they also talk about how important it is to work with the right Beverly Hills matchmakers. Why do you think they emphasize that?
Well, I think it suggests that not all matchmaking services are created equal. Experience matters, expertise matters, and knowing the local dating scene really well, that's got to be crucial.
So it's not just about picking any matchmaking service. It's about finding one that really understands you and, the whole Beverly Hills scene.
Yeah, finding a matchmaker who gets the nuances of that world and can connect you with people who are a good fit for you on, all those different levels.
Okay, so we've talked about the advantages they're highlighting, looked at some of those interesting testimonials. But before we wrap up, I think we got to address the elephant in the room. Is this all just really good marketing? Or is there something truly special about elite connections?
That's a million-dollar question, isn't it? And at the end of the day, I think it depends on what you're looking for in a dating experience.
Yeah, are you looking for something really personalized, something curated? Are you willing to put in the investment for a service that's going to connect you with people who are on the same wavelength? Are you just done with the superficial stuff on dating apps and want something more meaningful?
If you're answering yes to all those questions, then maybe Elite Connections is worth checking out. But you always have to remember, no matchmaking service can guarantee love. You still got to put in the work, be open to new experiences, and ultimately, take a chance on connection.
Well said. And I think that leads us perfectly into our final thoughts on this deep dive. Ready to wrap things up.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So we've really gone deep on elite connections, haven't we? Their history, who they work with, their whole approach to matchmaking and, the glamorous world of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, we've seen how they really focus on those high-achieving professionals who want more than just, a casual date. They really push those quality relationships built on those shared values, all that.
And we dug into those testimonials, which, let's be honest, were kind of fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. Inspiring, but also, got to stay a little skeptical.
Always. And of course, the big question, can a service like this really deliver on those promises of love, those lasting connections?
Right. The big question.
I think what's sticking with me is, It's more than just a dating service.
Yeah.
It's almost like what's the word, like a concierge service for love?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, they're like relationship navigators,
Yes.
helping you figure out what you actually want in a partner and then using their knowledge and connections to find someone who fits.
And it's like they're bringing back that old school charm of matchmaking, but with a modern twist, using tech, psychology, and a real understanding of how people work to create those connections.
Definitely. And they're doing it in a place where, honestly, it might be needed the most. Beverly Hills, where all that pressure to succeed, the focus on status and image, it can overshadow the real search for love.
It makes you think maybe they are creating that safe space,
Yeah.
a place where people can escape all that superficial stuff and just try to find something real.
Maybe. And that's what I find so interesting about them. They're tapping into this very human need, the need to connect, to be close to someone, to belong. And they're doing it in a way that feels, I don't know, exclusive, almost aspirational.
But at the end of the day, it's up to the individual, right? Whether or not they're ready to take that leap, invest in something that promises to help them find love.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of a deep dive like this. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're just giving you the information so you can decide for yourself.
So if you're listening and you're curious, I'd say go check it out. Explore their website, read those testimonials, maybe even reach out for a consultation.
And if you're interested in learning more about, other ways to find love, we have a ton of other episodes. We talk about online dating strategies, how to feel more confident when you're meeting new people, all sorts of things.
Who knows? Maybe your own Beverly Hills love story is just waiting out there.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of matchmaking. Until next time, keep your hearts open and those minds curious.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.